And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have our third keynote speaker from AeU University, Malaysia. That is Mr. Dato, Professor Dr. Hassan bin Said Emeritus, and he is a Vice Chancellor at AeU University, Malaysia. So, Emeritus Professor Dato Dr. Hassan Said is currently the Vice Chancellor of AeU University, Malaysia. Prior to this appointment, he was the Vice Chancellor of University Technology Mara, or UITM, and Vice Chancellor and President of Taylor's University. He was appointed as the Director General of the Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, from January 2005 until April 2008. He was also the Director, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education Malaysia, and a position he held since May 1998 before his appointment as the Director General. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, this is Mr. Dato Professor Dr. Hassan bin Said Emeritus.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, let me thank the organizing committee for inviting me to be the keynote speaker at this conference. And we are in the new type of situation whereby we cannot get together. I remember I went to Lampung last 2 years, or last year, you have a good food, good makan, but now we cannot have that anymore because of the COVID-19. So the pandemic COVID-19 has changed many things. It brought us a new way of life. It changed our culture. It changed the way that we mix with people. It changed our economy. It changed our behavior. And we are coming to a new, new era, what we call as a new normal. So basically it's something that we never anticipated before. Something was not well prepared, but this thing happened and we have to take it. But everybody is suffering, not only in Malaysia, Indonesia, but also the whole world suffering. So the new lifestyle, the new normal has brought many things and has impacted many areas, including the education. For higher education, if you look at how the COVID transformed the higher education, basically is that you transform the behavior of the students. Because the students, they are quite reluctant to come to campus. They want to study from their home. They want to study 24/7. They are not confined to 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening, but sometimes they want to study at 3 o'clock in the morning. So the new learning requirement by the students, basically because of the COVID-19. Because everybody tried to be safe, everybody tried to be in the room. They don't like to go to campus. And the campus seems to be required not only in the public university, but in the private university in Malaysia. But also for organizations like AeU and some other organizations, the working environment, the working SOP change. We're beginning to start using flexible working hours. People can work from home, and during those tough time, everybody work from home. But now we have a kind of blended kind of working structure. They can either work 3 days at home and 2 days in office, or 2 days in home and 3 days in office. So it's very flexible. That change the SOPs, change the policy, and change the type of mentoring, as what Prof. Samia mentioned. The way that how we run the business, how we run the organization change because of this situation, the new normal. And we also look at how it impacted the lecturers in the university, because they got to change the mode from the face-to-face to the online. E-learning coming in. Blended learning is not able to be practiced because you cannot have a face-to-face, basically totally online. When you develop online learning, it's not really a kind of PDF type. You put your lecture notes in PDF and you send to the students. It's not that way. Because under the e-learning environment, the pedagogy must be different. The support, the learning support must be different. The teaching must be rather, what do you call it, stimulating. So people started to develop MOOCs. People started to develop micro-credentials. And they started to use all kinds of technology, either through the computer, through the handphone, so that the student can have access to our learning process without being impacted by this pandemic. So the behavior of the lecturers, because of this post-COVID, has changed. Everybody now start to look at the technology. They start to look at how we can elevate our learning experience to the students by using technology. So this is good kind of opportunity, because for AeU, this is in line to our concept of e-learning, open learning, and flexible learning. And for private sectors in the country, in Malaysia, and I'm sure it's also in other countries, the COVID-19 really, gave a lot of impact on its business. Most of the private universities in Malaysia, now their revenue has fallen down to almost about 20 to 30% because the number of students have been decreased. So if you don't have a lot of revenue, that's impacted the profit. So basically in terms of investment on the equipment, in terms of the way I'm going to run the business, is going to be affected. That's why some of the private universities in Malaysia has terminated number of people, number of lecturers, because they want to look after their costs. So this is a private university. But unlike public university, they got support from the government, but private university, the revenue, 100% revenue coming from the students. And parents also are looking at this post-COVID era in a rather kind of suspicious way, whether the e-learning can really provide the best learning experience to their kids, whether the e-learning methodology can be recognized by the industries, whether their kids, after following the programs through e-learning or blended learning, will be hired by the industries, whether the e-learning has currency with the industry. So when you talk about the e-learning, even the parents also are not sure whether the students will get the benefit, will get the value for the e-learning. So this is a challenge because of the COVID-19. From the internationalization outlook or globalization, as mentioned by Professor Maroni, a lot of restriction on mobility. We cannot have the normal students exchange among the universities throughout the world. Cross-border education cannot be developed easily. So it really gives a lot of negative impact to the internationalization agenda of any university. And I'm sure virtual type of approach is not as similar as face-to-face approach, because something you need to see the body language before you can understand the culture of student from any university. So it's something that has brought a lot of impact to the higher education. It changed the whole scenario of higher education, the way that we teach the students, the way that the student get their education, the way that the private sector run their business, and the way that how we need to change our SOP and our policy with regard to the governance and also the way that we manage the university. So I believe that, as mentioned by Professor Maruni in Surah Al-Baqarah, that just like a two-sided coin, there's a positive and there's also negative. The positive part is that now people beginning to understand how important it is to look after your health, how to make sure that you are clean, how to make sure that you really put your health as important agenda. And also, it's really give a new kind of dimension with regard to the use of technology in the teaching. I think last time, in fact, when I was the dean or vice chancellors of many universities, there are some generation that never believe in technology. They still believe in face-to-face. And there are some famous university in the West. I don't want to name any university. When I visit the university, some professors still want to use chalk and blackboard because that is the way they believe the best learning kind of delivery for the students. But now, because of COVID-19, everybody moved to technology. People start to understand the software. People start to look at the available kind of courseware and try to develop your own MOOCs, your own materials, and try to give assignment through online to the students. And this really push up the usage of technology. And I think more people will be using technology to deliver their teaching. 10 years ago, when we said that the future university will not have bricks and walls, I never believed that. But now, because of post-COVID, I started to believe that maybe the future university will not have any more building, any more gates, you know. So everybody is teaching from home and the students learning from homes. So technology basically changed our way of doing things in the office. The university now beginning to automate, digitize their processes so that to reduce their human intervention. There will be kind of zero human interaction later on. And I told my people here that we like to see that people will look at our websites, try to understand the program we have at this university. They register and they can offer all online. They don't need to come to the office to register and other things. That's a new normal that we need to change our behavior with regard to the student support. So the 2021 economy is going to be worse. It's going to be the worst ever after the Second World War. So we need to look at things seriously, and for higher education, we need to really look at the 360 degrees from the teaching, from the learning, from the operation, from the way that we conduct things, from the way that we supposed to deliver our education. So we have got to do the right things right, because we cannot afford to fail anything, because it's going to have a very negative impact if we follow the same style of business as usual. It's going to be business as usual for everyone. So for higher education in the future, I hope that we need to revisit all our programs, because the programs that are going to support the new normal is going to be different. The industry requirement under the new normal is going to be different. A lot of people need to skill up or need to have new skills in their work. There'll be a kind of new skill coming up. There'll be a new job requirement because of this postponement. So for university, I think it's time for you to really revisit your programs to make sure that your programs are relevant, not only to the markets, but relevant to the new normal that we're having now. And also looking at the economic crisis for the private universities, I think it's high time for you to really look at your costs, because I'm not sure whether you can increase your revenue, but one way to be sustainable is really to manage your costs. So something that for all the private university, I hope that you must really look at your cost properly to be more efficient, to be more productive, so that you don't need size, but you need talents to run the organization. And technology need to be invested. You need to invest money for technology because technology change. Whatever you have this year might be different from next year. There will be a lot of big data analytics. There are a lot of artificial intelligence. There are a lot of expert systems that will be able to support you in your teaching and also in your management. And I think everybody need to see the new dimension of running university in the future, and the students' expectation will be much different next year. So for ASEAN University, AeU, we have come up with a few strategies. Number one is that we will continue doing this flexible working hours for our staff so that they can still conduct their work from home. Because of this pandemic, and our students, basically mature students and working students, they are badly affected because some of them lost their jobs. Some of them have getting half salary, and they are having a lot of financial hardship. So AeU has started what we call it AeU Prihatin. We care about people, and we reduce our fees to almost 40% discount to everybody for the May and September intake. So I think this is part of our contribution to the society. I know that there is a lot of financial problems, so we give a lot of discount and it's affect our bottom line because our profit margin will be getting less. And also we revisit all our programs to make sure that the programs are relevant, and those programs are not relevant, are not popular, we're going to take out on our chef, and we're going to invest more on the new programs that might meet the demand of the industries. We also talking about increasing the number of micro credentials, and also to have a really flexible, multiple entry, multiple exit system to the university. And we also going to organize virtual convocation this October, whereby there'll be a normal process, normal ceremony, but there'll be no students in front of us. The student will be in their homes. There'll be about almost like 2,000 students that graduate. So they'll be everywhere. They'll be in Indonesia, they'll be in Sri Lanka, Kashmir, India, Brazil, but they will stay in their homes and watching the convocation. And hopefully next year, if we recover, we can invite them again to wear their gowns and to take pictures. So it's something that we're going to do this year, and many more, because we know that as we go along, there'll be a lot of challenges ahead because of this post-pandemic. So finally, thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope everybody will stay safe. Let us fight COVID-19, and hopefully that I should be able to visit Lampung again. I should be able to visit Makassar again, Bali, Jakarta, because I like those places because they have got a lot of good food there. So with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.